Hi, I'm Jacob, and today we're going to talk about the Radioddity FS-T1. There is an equivalent to this for Europe, which is the PRT1, but this is the FS-T1. This is the American version, and it connects to it uses rather, the FRS, or Family Radio Service frequencies. So these are walkie-talkies, or two-way radios. They do not require a license. They are relatively inexpensive. This set was $30. So these, $15 each because it's a pack of two, and they're very easy to use, and you can get some decent range out of it. I've tested these personally and gotten half a mile of range through a neighborhood. And actually, my wife was in the house when she was replying to me. So if we were both outside, we could have gotten a little bit more range. So pretty impressive, actually. So let me go through some of the features of this radio. It's really pretty simple, but I'm going to be reviewing some other radios, including the two other Radioddity ones in this series, the FS-T2 and FS-T3, but they really don't have anything to do with each other than being made by Radioddity. They have completely different case styles, completely different electronics, interfaces, power ratings even. They have separate FCC filings for them because they're completely different hardware. So yeah, let's start with this one though. So you turn it on by using the volume knob here. So it gives you a little tone to tell you that it's on. If we look on the top here, we can see that there is a headphone port, a headset microphone port actually. There's also a little LED that is controlled by that button there, so you can have it on or flashing or off. You may wonder, why would I ever need that? But I have actually used the LED on radios like this. Walk into a dark room, like, oh, I have my radio on me, let me press the button. So you wouldn't want to use it for a long time, but if you need it, you got it. On the left side, we have our push-to-talk button, and then we also have the USB charging. This is only for charging, it's not for programming. And really, you don't need to program this. All the channels are correct. They are at the correct power levels, and they don't have any privacy codes applied to them by default or anything like that. So anyway, let's look at the front of the radio now. So we do have our up and down buttons. These let you change channel up and down. And one thing you might notice, if I can get a little closer here, you might see that it shows you the channel, like the frequency here, as the biggest numbers. And this tiny little number off to the left is the channel number. And this is one of the reasons why I wouldn't recommend this for a complete beginner, because they need to look here. Like you just hand this over to somebody who's never used one of these radios before. It takes an extra second to tell them, oh yeah, I have to look at that tiny little number there. So there are other radios that are a little bit nicer, and I'll be covering them in other videos, but I just wanted to point that out. It is nice though to know the frequencies here. If you end up getting into amateur radio or something like that, it's kind of nice to start learning that. So going into the menus here, if I press the menu button, I get options like receive code, transmit code. These are the CTCSS or DCS privacy codes, which are not really privacy. They're really just blocking out you from hearing other people talking on the same channel that aren't using that same code. So really, it just cuts down on the clutter if you're talking to just your family on channel 3, for instance, and another family is talking to their people on channel 3. You can put on one of these privacy codes and you won't have to hear them, but they'll still hear you. So, keep that in mind. Anyway, the menu timeout's really short, so I apologize for that. So yeah, your squelch level, this is what cuts out somebody's signal if it's too weak. It's actually set to 3. I might turn that down next time I do a range test of it. Light key, I think that means that if I go into this option, the light can always be on whenever the radio's on. The light can be on for a little bit after you press one of the keys, or it can just be off, like, and that's the backlight here. So I'm going to leave it on key. That's a good idea there. Beep is it'll beep every time you press buttons, and that's really annoying, so I keep it off. Vox is voice activated, and the higher the level you set, the higher the number you set there, I believe the more sensitive it is. I typically don't use Vox just because I've never found one that's really reliable. Power, right now it's set to high because we're on channel 7. Actually, if I go up to, or sorry, yeah, if I go up to channel 8, you'll see this L appear in the bottom left corner. That means we're on low power now. So that means we're on low power. You can see it says low now because we're on channel 8. TOR, or TDR rather, means you can see that there's 2 channels shown on the screen here. And you can switch between them by pressing and like long pressing one of the arrow keys. It doesn't matter which one, and it'll change this little arrow to point to a different one. So to point to the other one rather. So you could have 2 channels queued up here if you need to switch between them quickly, or you can also go in and turn on this monitor for both channels. So now once I do that, it's actually listening to both channels, and you'll hear it no matter which of these 2 channels there's a transmission on. So I'm actually going to turn that off because that can get confusing at times. You don't remember which channel you were talking on. Wide and narrow band, that's really, you should always leave it at narrow for FRS. That's really a feature that if you are an amateur radio operator, you have a license for that, then you can put it on wide and use one of the amateur radio frequencies. You should never use the wide bandwidth on FRS. And if you need to know more about that, do some research. And actually, you might want to take the amateur radio licensing exam and learn up. It's a really cool hobby and it's really interesting, but I digress. Go back into the menu here. So this is a power save function that you can turn on. TOT, this is the total number of, I believe, seconds that you transmit for before it cuts you off. So you can lower that down if you don't want to accidentally transmit for too long. BCLO off. This is a lock for the transmit or the push to talk button. So you could lock a certain channel to not allow transmission. Could be useful in a situation where, let's say you have like a community where you've got 20 of these radios out and you want to designate channel, I don't know, 3 as this is the channel where the central office or something is going to send out messages. We do not want anybody talking on it. We just want you to constantly monitor this channel. So you could say, don't allow transmissions on that channel like you could lock it out on everybody's radio except the one in the office. Something like that. And then ring, this is this allows you to like do a ringtone to, like, other radios could ring your radio. I personally don't like this because you're really just sending out like a blah, 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 on the frequency. I find it kind of annoying, but it's a feature there if you want to be able to do that. Weather, so if we go into here and we turn this on, now if we go back out of the menu, you can see we're listening to the NOAA weather stations. Now this is only available in the FRS version, the American version. I don't think the European one has an equivalent like this. And you can actually see it's picking up something because channel 3 is the one for my area. So let me go back in here and turn that off. It's a little annoying that you have to go into the menu and go to this thing just to turn it on, but there's also a voice, so it can speak to you to tell you what channel you're on, which could be really nice if you have a user of this radio who is blind. That way they can just turn it on and they can hear the power's on, they can change channels, and they can hear what channel they're on. And in fact, let me do a little demo of that. You can do Chinese or English. So it said confirm.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so that's kind of, it could be useful. Let's see.
Voice prompt.
Yeah, let's turn that off. So yeah, it can be useful in different situations. And then we've just cycled back to the beginning of the menu. So that's it. Other buttons on the front here that I haven't talked about yet. So we've got, this is the ring button. So if we press this once, it'll ring other people on the same frequency. If we press and hold it, this little lock icon will appear in the top left corner, and that means that I can transmit, but I can't change the channel. I can't go into menu. I can't go into, I can go into FM. So I can listen to FM radio stations on here too. Apparently it does not lock that out. You can transmit, but you can't change channel or any options. So I guess that could be useful if you're handing this to somebody and you want to make sure they don't change what channel they're on. But still, this FM button being available, they might hit that and be very confused and not know how to get out of it. It's the usefulness of that is a little bit questionable now that I have figured that out. And then the last button is the FM button. Well, actually, there's also monitor. And if you press and hold that, it lets you just hear exactly what's on the channel without your squelch or anything like that. So that if you have a really weak transmission you're trying to pick up on, you can press that and listen closely. It's useful in different situations. So another feature of this radio, the battery is detachable, but you do have to remove the belt clip. So the belt clip has this little tab, and then you pop it out, and then let me turn it off first, and then you can just pull the battery out. And so there's the FCC ID. This is allowed for FRS use in the United States. I checked the FCC ID on the website, and it is legal to use without a license on the FRS band. So let's put that battery back in there. It does have contacts for charging it externally. I guess they have like a multi-gang charger or whatever that you could put it into, but it does not come with that. It comes with, for charging, it comes with a USB cord that is USB type B, I guess, or is it A? I think it's type A. Yeah, USB A male on one end, and then micro USB male on the other end, and this is 2 of them. So you can charge, you charge both radios using the same cable, and it also comes with a charger, and there's your USB port there. So I will say though, this is an extremely light charger. I'm not sure how quality it is, but the output is 1 amp at 5 volts. So I haven't actually used it yet. I've got like multi-port chargers that I prefer to use with this. It also comes with lanyards so that you can, I guess you would hook it up to the top of this clip here and hang it around your neck. These are the right length for your neck. And then it also comes with earbuds. So these are the 4-pin 3.5 millimeter. So some people call these TRRS because it's tip, ring, sleeve. And that's what plugs into the top of this radio. I do not know, I haven't tested the wiring of these yet to see if they are the same as like an iPhone or what. I'm not sure. Or if it's the same as like a Yaesu speaker mic or something like that. I don't know. So another great thing about this radio is that it comes with a really good user manual. It goes through all the features and it explains everything in great detail. So even if you've never used one of these radios before, it explains everything in a really good English and it's a really good it's a really good user manual, and it even includes color pictures of the software if you do end up using the programming software. And yeah, so it really made the experience very easy. Even though this is a more complicated radio, I feel like anybody could just pick it up using this manual and figure out all the functions of it in just like an hour. So to summarize, I really like these radios. I like how they give you all the options. They have pretty decent range. Like I said, I've tested these in my neighborhood and gotten about half a mile of range out of it, which is really good. Don't believe all the listings that you see that say that a radio has 30-mile range or something like that, at least an FRS radio, because that's maybe under ideal conditions. Maybe it's from like airplane to airplane or something. You know, it's no trees, no buildings, nothing in the way. I would say if you're in a neighborhood, range, half mile range is good. If you want to keep in touch with your kids when they're out playing around in the neighborhood or something like that, this is great. If you're a small community or something out in a rural area and you'd like to keep in touch with each other without, you know, cell phones or landlines or whatever, these are also probably a good example of a radio you could use. Now, I would say they might be for more advanced users just because the more options there are available. But I will be covering the other two radios in this same series later that will be even more user-friendly, like to the point where you don't have any options. You can just change channels and really that's it. So anyway, that's probably long enough for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like it, and if you like what I do, please subscribe. But if you don't like the video, go ahead and do thumbs down. That's fine too. And let me know what you didn't like, so that I can do a better job next time. All right. Well, have a great day.